नमस्कार, सुस्वागतम, अभिनंदन, केम छो, जय श्री कृष्ण, वणकम, आदाबाज, सत श्री अकाल, अंबागाड़ी, राम राम, राधे राधे, ए वेरी गुड आफ्टरनून। मैं अनिल भारद्वाज आप सभी का पीआरएल के अमृत व्याख्यान के 115वें अध्याय में स्वागत करता हूं, अभिनंदन करता हूं। आई अनिल भारद्वाज very warmly welcome you all to the 115th episode of PRL का अमृत व्याख्यान। We started the PRL Kamrit Vyakhyaan as a part of celebration of PRL's 75 years of establishment, which coincides with Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav, that is 75 years of independence of India, to celebrate the rich legacy and history of contributions to physics and space sciences, and also as a tribute to Dr. Vikram Sarabhai, with a sankalp that every Wednesday at 4 p.m. we will have the PRL Kamrit Vyakhyaan, and which actually started on 4th of August 2021. After completing 75 uninterrupted episodes of PRL Kamrit Vyakhyaan in January 2025, we took the sankalp that we will hold the PRL Kamrit Vyakhyaan every month, and the PRL Kamrit Vyakhyaan will be delivered by distinguished, renowned personalities from all disciplines of science and technologies, humanities, business, law, art, science, culture, sports, music, dance, and whatnot. Today, that is 28th of April 2026 at 4 p.m., we have yet another very distinguished Vyakhyaan Karta with us, Air Marshal Dr. Sanjeev Kapoor, AVSM, VM, Indian Air Force, retired, who is going to give the Vyakhyaan on military leadership, lessons, discipline, ownership, and excellence. As you will know that military leadership is very important, but also important is the disciplines, the ownership, and excellence. And Air Marshal Dr. Sanjeev Kapoor will be deliberating on this and will be telling you about how this is actually executed in military, but not only military, in everyday's life of anyone else. It is very, very important. So we thank Air Marshal for accepting our invitation and to be with us today for this Vyakhyaan. I would now request my colleague, Professor Pallam Raju, to kindly formally introduce Air Marshal to the audience on the WebEx platform, as well as those who have joined us live on the PRL's YouTube channel. Over to you, Professor Pallam Raju.
Thank you, Professor Bharadwaj. It is indeed a great pleasure and honor and a privilege for me to introduce today's speaker, Air Marshal Dr. Sanjeev Kapoor, who has been decorated with Ati Visisht Seva Medal and Vayu Seva Medal. He is a distinguished former officer of the Indian Air Force with nearly 4 decades of service in operational, command, and strategic roles. A decorated military aviator, a para jumper, and a qualified flying instructor, he combined professional excellence with academic pursuit, earning a doctoral degree that reflects his deep engagement with research alongside practice. Over the course of his career, he commanded premier institutions such as the Air Force Academy and the National Defense Academy, and later served as the Director General of Inspection and Safety at the Air Headquarters. He played a pivotal role in the induction and operationalization of 5 advanced aircraft platforms and was closely associated with the development of India's aerial refueling capability. His expertise extended beyond the Air Force into civil aviation and defense governance, serving on the board of Pawan Hans Limited and overseeing the transfer and induction of Boeing 777 aircraft for government VVIP operations. He also contributed to national initiatives in military education, including establishment of 100 new Sainik schools. Since retirement, Air Marshal Kapoor has remained deeply engaged in the strategic community based in the National Capital Region and working with think tanks, academic institutions, and research forums. He writes extensively for books, journals, and policy publications, participates in defense and security discourses as a media analyst, and speaks regularly at conclaves and conferences. His current interests span air power theory, joint operations, aerospace, leadership, space, defense policy, and strategic studies, with a particular focus on emerging domains of national security and capability development. With this brief introduction, I invite Air Marshal Dr. Sanjeev Kapoor to kindly deliver the 115th PRL Amrut Vyakhyaan on a very pertinent, interesting, and a thought-provoking topic: military leadership lessons, discipline, ownership, and excellence. Dr. Sanjeev Kapoor, please.
Thank you very much, Dr. Pulam Raju. At the outset, I must compliment the director, Dr. Anil Bharadwaj, to Dr. Anil Bharadwaj to have invited me to speak. I was joking with Dr. Pulam Raju a little while ago that on the 6th of April, one of the boys who is associated with me in space education wanted to come and meet Dr. Bharadwaj. And Dr. Bhardwaj expressed his desire to come and meet me. So from the airport, this boy brought me direct to the PRL. And your session was going on in which all of you were seated. And there, the director asked me to say a few words. And that was on the 6th of April, just about 20 plus days away. And I began by saying that when I got up in the morning, I never realized that I'll be standing here at the PRL, such a fine institution, and would be speaking to all of you here. So sometimes life brings you, and in the last few days, the interaction was such that I was requested to come and speak today. And it indeed is an excellent honor and opportunity for me to interact and speak to the finest minds which this country has produced. एंड बिफोर आई बिगैन स्पीकिंग, मैं डॉक्टर पलम राजू से भी यही बात कर रहा था कि जब भगवान राम ने लंका जीती तो उनको विभीषण ने ऑफर किया था कि आप यहीं रखिए, आप लंका पे राज कीजिए, ये स्वर्ग नगरी है, दुनिया की सारी सुख सुविधाएं सब कुछ इस लंका में उपलब्ध है, आप वापस अयोध्या क्यों जा रहे हैं? तो भगवान राम ने उनसे उस वक्त कहा था, संस्कृत का एक श्लोक है जिसका मीनिंग ये है कि जननी और जन्मभूमि स्वर्ग से भी ऊपर है। मीन्स अगर आपको स्वर्ग भी मिल जाए बट आपकी जननी और जन्मभूमि आपको उसके ऊपर है, और मैं अपनी जन्मभूमि वापस जाना चाहूंगा, अपनी जननी के पास वापस जाना चाहूंगा। तो दिस इज फॉर ऑल द यंग पीपल. Yesterday, Mr. Wembu made an appeal to all the Indians who are in US. You buy one-way ticket and come back. Like Dr. Palam Raju has come a few years ago. Mr. Wembu yesterday made appeal to all the Indians, because I was just writing down to speak to all of you. I have a full page of list starting from Arista, Bata, Novartis, Cognizant, Starbucks, Micron, Alphabet, Google, Wimco, IBM, Ology, Flextronics, FedEx, Microsoft, Adobe, Alto, Albertson, Wayfair, Chanel, NetApp, OnlyFans, YouTube. This list is another page also, which is headed by Indians. All these organizations are held by people of Indian origin. The top doctors, the top scientists in NASA, the top engineers are of Indian origin. While at US, I was making this Prime Minister's aeroplane, which he just mentioned in the introduction. आप ये देखते होंगे भारत, जिसमें प्रधानमंत्री जाते हैं, बोइंग 777, वो that I was a project head. तो मेरे कई चक्कर लगे अमेरिका में. तो मैंने एक चीज पाई कि वो देश बहुत अच्छा है, शुरू में सब कुछ बहुत ग्लैमरस लगता है, बट उधर एक गिलास फ्री पानी का भी नहीं पिलाते आपको, मतलब दूर, और आप उनके क्या काम आ सकते हैं, आप उनकी किस तरह से ग्रोथ में हेल्प कर सकते हैं, दैट इज इट. And subconsciously, I'm not saying it across the board, but I always found that you are not accepted there by in the larger community of things. They always look down upon the skin color, and they only wanted you for your intellect and work output. And as an Indian, we are always told कि मेहनत करनी है. बच्चा जिस दिन से पैदा होता है, माँ बाप बोलते हैं बेटा मेहनत करो, मेहनत करो, मेहनत करो. वो डीएनए में ऐसा बस जाता है कि भारतीय दुनिया में कहीं पे भी जाएगा, उसके डीएनए में है कि मुझे मेहनत करनी है. अब उनको, वो तो गोरे हैं, गोरों को तो फ्राइडे को शाम को अपना वो रख देंगे, उसके बाद वो मंडे तक फोन भी नहीं उठाते. तो अपना वो क्रिसमस के लिए भी 20 दिन जाएंगे. बट इन दिस ब्रेक आई रियलाइज we went to the Panasonic research laboratory there. The onboard equipment, the satellites and the other linkages are in this aeroplane from Panasonic. And there in that industry, I found everybody who was doing research were either of Indian or Chinese origin. And those boys were working over the weekend because we happened to go there on a weekend. And this exactly reinforced my thought that they have people who are willing to work extra hours for a few more dollars, wherein the owners are themselves, freaking out globally on your work output. So why not we give it back to our country? Why not we give it back to our nation? Why not we invest here? And that day also I said, okay, both my kids got placed after BTech, this thing. But today, my son is in the Navy, he's on the submarines. My daughter is in the Air Force. My father was in the Air Force. My brother is a naval pilot. I served the Air Force for 40 years. So I'm convinced what I'm saying is there is no better place than our own country to grow and give back. And there are hundreds of problems, hundreds of challenges here. But you have to see, like I was seeing in Dr. Vikram Sarabhai's, quotation, that amongst the noise, you have to listen for the music. I read it in your setup only. So amongst this chaos in our country of population, overcrowding, garbage, ill management, hundreds of problems. But in this, look for music and take this country ahead, because we were the best in the world. And unfortunately, the history that I said the other day also when I came on the 6th of April, that the history, this known history of over 5,000 years, India has led the world for 80% of the time. 80% of the last 5,000 years, our country has led this world. It is just that the period from 1500, 1600s when the invaders started to come, and especially after the Britishers came around the 1800s, is that, and this is the only portion which is taught to us in the history books. And we are made to be subjugated, by our thought process through the books, that we are no good. I just gave you the list of people who of Indian origin who are leading this company. And this is directly reflecting in the global power which the America has. But who is helping them to grow? Us. Why can't we as Indians contribute in our own country's growth? And I urge each one, because we are the finest minds this country has produced. And that day also I was joking with Dr. Bhardwaj that I have never seen so many wise people under one roof in my, and all of you probably are doctors and, having very high qualifications under one roof. I really feel very obliged and happy to be associated today with you. So I will straight away come to the point of my discussion. May I request the slides to be shown? I made a few slides because I feel that no presentation is complete, though it channelizes your mind in one direction. Military leadership, before I begin, is very different. Now, I'll give you an example. You can get any job in this world, any job, in one interview, two interview. You want to be in Microsoft in place of Sundar Pichai or any other position, you will have at least maybe a third interview. That's it. But to become an officer in the armed forces, you have to go something called a service selection board. Firstly, the exam, the National Defense Academy selection exam, as a 11th, 12th year old, because when we went, it was 11th, now it is 12th grade. About 6.5 lakh children write. The 6.5 lakh children every 6 months apply to join NDA. And the seats when we joined were about 320, and today it's 400. From 6.5 lakh children, only 400 reach National Defense Academy. No profession in the world you select at the age of 16 and 17. Nowhere in the world do you decide your career at the age of 16 and 17 years old. First. Second, the selection is so tough that you are put through this process of selection and they're looking for one quality in you. They keep you for 5 days. They put you through a grind. Some of you may have appeared for SSB, I'm not sure. They put you through a grind to select whether you have that officer material. Now, what is this material is exactly what I'm going to speak about, is leadership. You don't have to do SSB. All of us are leaders in our own way. And this is what I'm going to speak today. They are looking for an ability which is not needed in any other profession. And that ability is to lead your men to death in case of a requirement. In case there is a requirement and your men are following you, they will happily lay down their life for this country or for you, very well knowing that here is an organization with such fine value system which will take care of me, my family, and my next generation, because I have trust in this. And that's how people are led into any war or conflict. When in Op Sindoor the pilots went across to bomb, all of them heart of heart know that the chances of coming back are less. You may be intercepted, you may be fired upon, you may be shot down. The army troops which went across in Uri, Pahalgam, 65, 71, Kargil, they didn't know they'll come back. But they go. They go. Why do they go? Because they are led by leaders. And this is defined by the 3 verticals which I'm going to speak today. First is discipline. Second is ownership. There are a lot of traits, but I just picked up these 3. And third is excellence. Next slide, please. I picked up these 3-4 examples because the new movies which have come of Bollywood are based on these the real life heroes. So I thought some of you who would not know about them may have seen these movies. So first and foremost is Captain Vikram Batra. Now Vikram Batra, we all know, got a Paramveer Chakra in 1999 Kargil War. There's a movie which has come, Sher Shah. Some of you would have watched. If not, you can watch it on YouTube or Netflix. He initially captured a hill in Kargil called 0.5140. Once he captured the hill, he was injured. He had a lot of injuries, both physically, and he was exhausted. But the next morning, he was asked to prepare for another assault. And this assault was on a hill from where the access is not there. It is like Shivaji capturing his troops, capturing the Singhad fort. You would have seen. Nobody in this earth imagined that people can climb from the side. So something like that, Captain Vikram Batra, and he coined that term, "Ye Dil Mange More." You would have seen in the movie also. He decided with this team of 17 people to capture 0.4875. Now, like I was telling a little while ago, all these people whom he led very well knew that they may not come back. Captain Vikram Batra also knew that I'm taking them with me. They are my responsibility. And in this climb of 4875, there was a Subedar. There were landmines laid because the enemy had put land mines to deny access from that side from where they were coming. He pushed that Subedar away and he told him that you are married. You let me cross. And he crossed, and in this, the blast took place. He got injured. He died on the spot there. Why I gave this example is he got, of course, the highest guarantee award, Paramveer Chakra. What I'm going to tell you now is very, very different. Nobody would have put things in this perspective to you before. Is that in the armed forces, the people who will go and fight is not known to anybody. It is the army headquarters who tells the northern commander that we have to defend Kargil. The Kargil, the army commander sitting in Udhampur will decide to the corps which looks after Kargil. That Kargil corps commander will designate a division. The division will designate a brigade. That brigade has 3 battalions, will designate a particular battalion. In that battalion, there are 3 companies, and that battalion commander will designate a particular company to go and capture this. It means anybody given a chance would be nearly performing the same things as these people have done. So it is just luck that this opportunity was given to these people and the crisis took place and they performed. The larger picture which I am trying to convey is that all people are trained to exhibit this kind of qualities which I am going to cover. Next. I picked up this example of Second Lieutenant Arun Khetrapal. There was another movie which had come on him. You would have all seen. In this movie, which some of you would have seen, though I have not seen, it's a typical case. He joined NDA. He passed out in 1970 and he went to IMA, became an officer in the month of June 1971. He joined 17 Pune Horse. It's an armored company. He reached this unit. It's a regiment of 17 Pune Horse, which has won gallantry awards during 1965 war. And the commanding officer of Second Lieutenant Arun Khetrapal was Lieutenant Colonel Hanut Singh, a guy who went on to become a Lieutenant General. And he once joined Arun Khetrapal. By that time, July, August, his Vayu course came. Now, for benefit of all of you, every young officer in the services, all the three services, have to go for a course. It's called Young Officers Course, Vayu's course. This course basically enables you to start commanding your men. Till now, you have only been taught theory. Here, you start living with your men. For benefit of all of you, all officers are made to stay with Jawans in the rooms, in the same barracks. They eat the same food. They do the same drill of the Jawans when they join any unit, battalion or regiment. This is to make them understand the hardships with which they go through, and later when they are commanding them, there is absolutely nothing in the mind which they are not aware. So he was made to go for Vayu's course, and he told his commanding officer at that stage, "Sir, I would like to excuse myself for the course because a war is coming and I want to participate in this war." So his commanding officer said, after a lot of persuasion, he says, "Okay, I will give you a test. In case you clear the theory part, I will do your practicals in the unit." And so he studied, he cleared his exams, and his CO started grooming him. Didn't he realize that in the month of December 1971, when the Indo-Pak war took place, his unit was asked to go and fight. Now, this battle, you may all read, it's called the Battle of Basantar. Basantar is a tributary of river Ravi. When you see the map along Pakistan, is Punjab J&K border, there is a dagger kind of a thing which is protruding into Pakistan, and there this Basantar river goes. The Pakistanis had brought in the highest level of their tank. Over 40 to 50 tanks were positioned in hiding, and a huge regiment of tanks was being pushed. They wanted to cut away the complete J&K, and his company battalion was asked to defend the area. Before leaving, his commanding officer had just said that I would not want any of you to fall back, because this would give an indication to the enemy that we are retreating. So Second Lieutenant Arun Khetrapal, went for that battle. It was the fiercest tank battle that took place that night on 14th, 15th of December 1971. And his fellow people started to die because they were so outnumbered by the enemy. His tank got hit and he refused to leave. He helped the other tank people. He guided his people to put tanks horizontally so that the enemy tanks could not advance. He and his 3 tanks single-handedly took away 10 enemy tanks that night in that Battle of Basantar. He died on the spot there by a bullet injury. What I'm going to cover now is his father was in the army, his brother was in the army, and when he got his Paramveer Chakra posthumously, he was not 21 years also age. He was not at that stage even 21 years old when he got Paramveer Chakra. So some people, when a film star's son gets caught with drugs, he is 24-year-old. So the media and the trial people, the lawyers say, "Sir, वो तो बच्चा है, उसको छोड़." Look at him. Look at him. Look at his face. He was not even 21, and he got Paramveer Chakra. He took the ownership, which I'm just trying to say. Discipline. He led to the end, and he is just not even 4 months into his service. He is just, these are the value systems which are imbibed in every officer. It could have been any other body, other than 17 Pune horse, any other tank unit would have been there. He would have, or that unit would have also performed the same task. It is very important through this two examples that you train your people well. Training takes the utmost and I was so fascinated that day when I saw Dr. Bharadwaj himself sitting and going through in your establishment the research and the topics on which all the people are working. And after that thing, I asked him. He says it's a review that we do periodically, annually, or at some reason, wherein that person gets an opportunity to express, and if there are any input, suggestions, or tweaking that needs to be done, that is a collective. It's a wonderful thing I learned that day just by being in your premises for that 1 hour or so that I spent. It's an excellent thing. So the example, the next one I would like to cover, next please, is about Flying Officer Nirmaljeet Singh Sekhar. You would have heard, he's another Paramveer Chakra. He was posted at Srinagar, 1971 war again. He was flying Nats. There is something called as ORP, for benefit of those who are not, it's called an operational readiness platform. It's ORP. These are the hardened shelters. It's like those igloos which you find in the Air Force runways, as and when some civil aircrafts in which you travel, you can see on the sides of the runway, there are these igloo kind of things. They are called the ORP pens, where the aeroplanes are kept ready at all times. They are bombed, armed, and in case of any hostilities or in case of any crisis, it just takes a few seconds for you to start, line up, and get airborne. This is a readiness, operationally readiness platform. So he was in one such ORP in Pen in 1971, and Srinagar airfield was to be attacked. 6 sabers came from Pakistan. They wanted to destroy Srinagar runway and destroy complete Srinagar town. As the Srinagar runway was being bombed, the debris was going off. In the debris, Nirmaljeet Singh Sekhar got airborne. He started his aeroplane and got airborne while the bombs were being dropped on Srinagar runway, got airborne and shot down personally 2 sabers of Pakistan. He single-handedly engaged them in a dogfight and shot them down. The other 4 got after him, and people who have seen that air battle, 4 versus 1, say that they have never seen anything more fierce than that on the treetop height over Srinagar. In the end, these sabers ran out of fuel and they had to go back to Pakistan. He saved the Srinagar runway, a little bit of damage, and he saved the complete Srinagar town. He was 23 years old and he also received a Paramveer Chakra for that. Just see dedication, discipline, ownership. These are embedded values where of these people I'm covering. There was a movie on him, that's why I picked up recently. You can have a look and Google and see. Next, please. Major Shaitan Singh, another movie on him. I intentionally picked up those names because if I speak about somebody else, there may not be enough literature available or any movie made on this particular gentleman. Now, I'm sure not a lot of you would not have heard about Major Shaitan Singh. Now, this is 1962. 1962, he was deployed at a place in Ladakh called Razangla at 16,000 feet. The Chinese attacked. There was a movie now, 120. This was made on Major Shaitan Singh. They didn't have enough winter equipment. They didn't have enough winter clothing. They didn't have enough ammunition. They didn't have enough, because logistics at that stage, and nobody expected the Chinese to come and attack at that position. They had basic, and 120 people were there in that post, led by Major Shaitan Singh, who was the company commander of 13 Kamau Regiment, Charlie Company. He, Major Shaitan Singh, when he saw the Chinese coming, there were over 5,000 people, 5,000 Chinese. They were held by 120 Charlie Company Kamau Regiment people. 114 people died in that fight. 114, and he sent 5-6 away to tell them that you go and inform, because there was no communication at that stage. The snow was till their chest. There was nothing with them. There was nothing. And he says, he coined the term last man, last bullet. They knew that there is no way they would survive, but they said, we will keep fighting till the last man and the last bullet. And they did that. When the people went after that, there was no ammunition left. They had exhausted everything. It means once they have exhausted everything what they had no thing to defend, and finally they succumb. So these things are, examples for all of us to emulate in our day-to-day lives, that we, on slightest pretext start to complain. We start to say, मेरे पास ये नहीं है, मेरे ऑफिस में एयर कंडीशनर नहीं चल रहा, मेरे पास ये होना चाहिए था, मेरी को गाड़ी मिलनी चाहिए थी, मेरे को फलाना मिलना चाहिए था. But when you look at these stories, when you listen to their folklores, when you listen to these people, and the saddest part is that all these stories, which should have formed a part of a school book curriculum for the young boys and girls to read, unfortunately is not there. It is now a few years ago that we have a National War Memorial. All their people, bus are put there. Please go to India Gate, as and when you visit, all of you, to Delhi next. Go and visit the people. There are about 2,800 people who have given their life for in conflict. I'm just saying the armed forces people. And there's a bust of all these people whom I'm just mentioning. The Paramveer Chakra awardees is put at India Gate. Just spend 5 minutes reading about them. It will inspire you and your next generation to understand what soldiering is all about. Next, please. अब आप सोचोगे कि मैं सिर्फ young officers की उनकी बातें कर रहा हूं. So I picked up another case study for you all. This is about Field Marshal Cariappa. Now, I'm sure all of you would have heard his name. He was the first army chief. A very funny part, I thought, in the passing, I must mention to all of you. भारत और पाकिस्तान एक ही दिन आजाद हुए थे, और वो दोनों देश 1948 में एक युद्ध लड़े, भारत और पाकिस्तान. एक ऐसा युद्ध है दुनिया में जो कि बहुत यूनिक है. Both the armies of Pakistan and India were led by the British generals. Two fighting nations have the generals from the same country. So the map of Jammu and Kashmir, which you see today, was defined in London. It is the Britishers who decided कि ये लाइन होगी. जो महाराजा हरि सिंह ने भारत को एक्सीड किया जम्मू एंड कश्मीर, अगर वो पूरा का पूरा भारत को मिल जाता, तो इंडिया would have been controlling all the waterheads. India would have been overseeing the heights of Sialkot, Islamabad, Rawalpindi and all these places. So उन्होंने डिसाइड किया कि नहीं, 3 नदी इनको देंगे, 2 इनको देंगे, ये बेस इनको देंगे, इनको देंगे. और उन्होंने तो दोनों जनरल्स को बता दिया, पाकिस्तान वाले को भी, भारत वाले को, कि तुम इससे आगे मत जाना. उसको बोला तुम इससे आगे मत जाना. And that's how the LAC has been drawn. And Field Marshal Cariappa became the army chief after the Britishers handed over in 1949. He became the army chief, and thereafter he rose to become a field marshal. The story is not that. He retired while he was serving before partition. Ayub Khan was serving under him. So he was a colonel, and Ayub Khan was a major who had served under Cariappa when in 1930s, before the partition, 35 or 38 sometime. So he retired and settled in Coorg in Karnataka, Field Marshal Cariappa. Fast forward to 1965. 1965 war में इनका बेटा एक aeroplane hunter, he was taking across to Pakistan. The aircraft gets shot. He ejects and he's captured. So once he's captured, he doesn't tell his name and identity. Finally, he is caught, and they see the nameplate, interrogation, the intelligence puts it, and it is realized that he is Field Marshal Cariappa's son, who was captured now in Pakistan. The message reaches the president Ayub Khan from the army chief did a coup and was the president of Pakistan at that stage in 1965. So Ayub Khan picks up the phone and calls up Field Marshal Cariappa in Coorg. And he says, "Sir, your son is in my captivity. Please tell me when and where and how should I release him?" Because he was his commanding officer before partition. The Field Marshal Cariappa tells him on the phone, "He no longer is my son. He is a soldier of this country. Please treat him the way you are treating the other soldiers. And having worked with you, I can tell you, please follow the Geneva Convention and please give them the utmost regard which one soldier has to give to the others." And he kept the phone down. Look at the value system. In a crisis where his own son is captured and the president of that country is calling up and he's saying, do what is to be done with everybody else. What more and better examples of honesty, loyalty, integrity do you need other than these few stories which I have limited time. I can go endless. I can speak for days together on these stories without referring to anything. But all of us, are so cocooned in our day-to-day that we don't enjoy the journey. We are all looking at the destination. In fact, the journey is more beautiful than the destination. So my advice to all of you would be, please find time to narrate such stories of valor to the next generation. They grow up imbibing these values subconsciously. Next, please. Next slide, please. अब आप बोलोगे सारे मैंने फौजियों की ले ली, तो मैंने कुछ और भी उठाए जिससे आप कनेक्ट कर सकते हैं. First I picked up is Deepa Malik. She is paralyzed waist downward. At the age of 38, she has decided to play sports. She has won 31 medals for India as a Paralympian. Look at her. Look at the grit. Look at the determination. Next picture is Kamya Karthikeyan. Nobody would have heard her name. She is 17-year-old, daughter of a naval officer, brilliant in academics, brilliant in sports. She's climbed all the 7 highest peaks in all the 7 continents, including Mount Everest, and she's in class 12th. काम्या कार्तिकेयन. लोग बोलते हैं ठंड है, गर्मी है, बाहर बहुत वो है, अभी तकलीफ है, मैं चल नहीं सकता, मैं जान. ये रे आपके सामने बच्चे हैं, ये काम्या कार्तिकेयन, आप गूगल करके देखिए. ऋषभ पंत, अब मैं नहीं पूछूंगा इसको कौन जानते हैं, सब लोग जानते होंगे. आई पिक्ड अप एन एग्जांपल जिससे हर कोई रिलेट कर सकता है. रुड़की के पास 30 दिसंबर 2022 को एक भारी एक्सीडेंट होता है. ऋषभ पंत की जान जाने वाली होती है. उसकी एक लेग इतनी बुरी तरह से जख्मी हो जाती है कि वो एम्प्यूट करने पे आ जाते हैं. दे हैड टू कट, द डॉक्टर्स हैड सजेस्टेड दैट वी विल हैव टू कट योर लेग इफ यू हैव टू बी सेव्ड. उसके बाद इसको रुड़की से दिल्ली लेके आते हैं हॉस्पिटल में, एंड ही इज इन सपोर्ट सिस्टम, आईसीयू फॉर मेनी वीक्स. ग्राफ्टिंग्स होती हैं, रॉड डलती है, इसकी आर्टिफिशियल बॉडी की लेग्स और बाकी लिम्स को सपोर्ट दिया जाता है. By the month of June or July of 2023, he starts to limp with crutches. He starts to walk in the hospital corridors. By the month of September, he does physiotherapy for 15 hours a day. He does exercise and strength building for 14 to 15 hours a day. He starts going to the ground. He starts practicing batting. He starts practicing wicket keeping. By October, he starts playing Ranji Trophy of 2023. By November, he wins Ranji for his team and he gets selected for Indian team on merit. And in 2024, he lifts the World Cup for India. ऋषभ पंत. अब आप इसको कुछ भी बोल लीजिए, डिटर्मिनेशन, ग्रेट, विल पावर, कुछ भी नाम दे दीजिए आप. जब आपने एक मकसद बना लिया है कि मुझे ये करना है, ये ह्यूमन लिमिट्स को डिफाई करता है. उसके साथ की फोटो देखिए आप, लेफ्टिनेंट कमांडर दिलना एंड रूपा. दे आर 2 नेवल ऑफिसर्स. किसी ने इसका नाम नहीं सुना होगा. अनफॉर्चुनेटली हमारे देश में अच्छी चीजें ना तो मीडिया कभी कवर करता है, ना कभी अखबार में पाई जाती है, ना कभी टेलीविजन में दिखाई जाती है, ना किसी नरेटिव में कोई आपके साथ कवर करता है। ये हमारे देश की बहुत बड़ी विपदा है। These two naval officers did round the world trip of 40,000 kilometers in a sailboat, two girls. For 86 days they sailed around the world, and Raksha Mantri a few months ago received them back. इनके शिप के मास्ट टूटे, they went through torrid weather, they went through such hardships, but these two girls covered round the world in a sailboat. जो हवा से चलती है बोट, पूरी दुनिया का चक्कर लगा के these two girls have just come a few months back. But इसका कहीं पे भी वर्णन नहीं आएगा, कहीं वर्णन नहीं आएगा. Next, I picked up this Arunima Sinha's example. She was traveling in 2011 in a train. The robbers tried to pull her things. She was pushed out of the train. उसकी दोनों पैर कट गए. But she from 2011, उसके दोनों पैर कट गए. She was a badminton player before that, and she climbed the Mount Everest. First amputee in 2013, with both her legs amputated. First amputee in the world to climb Mount Everest in 2013. She climbed all the 7 summits of all the 7 continents without her legs. She was a national volleyball player, and she now speaks. She is a social worker, and she was honored with Padma Shri. How many of you would have heard her name? None. क्योंकि ऐसी चीजें मैं आपको बार बार बता रहा हूं, कहीं ना बताई जाती है, ना दिखाई जाती है, ना कोई डिस्कस करता है. तो and the highest mountaineering award of Tenzing Norgay award was also given to her. ऐसी कहानियां अपने बच्चों को सुनाइए, ऐसी कहानियां अपने इंस्टीट्यूशंस में शेयर कीजिए. It brings in the best in any organization. That's what I feel. Next. So ये जो मैंने आपको 7-8 कहानियां सुनाई हैं, इसमें से कुछ चीजें कॉमन निकल के आती है. सबसे ऊपर आता है डिसिप्लिन. अब डिसिप्लिन क्या है? लॉट ऑफ पीपल आस्क मी, सर डिसिप्लिन क्या होता है? ठीक है, तो मैं सिंपल एग्जांपल दे सकता हूं. एंड लॉट ऑफ पीपल आस्क मी, सर मोटिवेशन और डिसिप्लिन में फर्क क्या है? तो पुटिंग इट इन लेमैन टर्म्स, मोटिवेशन इज लाइक अ फ्यूल इन द कार. वो थोड़े दिन रहेगा, फिर जब फ्यूल खत्म हो जाएगा गाड़ी रुक जाएगी. दैट इज मोटिवेशन. एंड डिसिप्लिन इज द इंजन ऑफ दैट कार. जितना आप उसको अच्छा रखेंगे उतनी अच्छी गाड़ी चलेगी. द होल लाइफ रिवॉल्व्स अराउंड डिसिप्लिन. डिसिप्लिन एक ऐसी चीज है, जब आपका मन ना करे, आपका शरीर तन मन, जब ऋषभ पंत का उठने का मन नहीं कर रहा, जब वो लेफ्टिनेंट कमांडर दिलना और रूपा की पूरी बोट उलट गई, उसमें पानी भर गया और उन्होंने पूछा हम कहां फंस गए, उसके बाद भी उसको सीधा करके उसको जब चलाया, जब उस अरुणिमा को धक्का दे दिया, उसकी टांगे नहीं जड़ गई थी, उसको सांस आना बंद हो गया था, तो फिर भी माउंट एवरेस्ट चढ़ती रही बिना टांगों के. ये जो चीज होती है जो आपको अंदर से लेके चलती है, उसको डिसिप्लिन कहते हैं सरल भाषा में. जो चीज आपने ठान ली है, जो चीज आपने डिसाइड की है कि मुझे करना है, वो एक बेडरॉक बन जाती है आपको करने के लिए. कुछ भी है वो आपके लाइफ में, जो भी आपने निर्णय लिया है, उसमें कोई वो नहीं है. अगर आपने 6 बजे का अलार्म लगाया कि सुबह मुझे दौड़ने जाना है, 2 दिन गए, तीसरे दिन बोले यार बहुत ठंड है, रजाई से कौन निकलेगा दिल्ली में, तो सर्दियों में. अब दैट इज डिसिप्लिन. So second is decision making under pressure. All these examples which I gave you is they have taken a decision under pressure. They were not in the normal conditions. They all took a decision when. नेक्स्ट चीज मैं हर जगह जाके ये बोलता हूं, जो हमारे देश में सबसे बड़ी कमी है, और जो मैं उस दिन जब आपके यहाँ आया था 20 दिन पहले, मैंने तभी भी आई थिंक सो, आई डोंट रिकॉल, बट मैंने पासिंग में शायद मेंशन किया होगा कि कोई भी काम अकेला नहीं होता. बट अनफॉर्चुनेटली हमारे को बचपन से हर चीज अकेले करने की आदत डाल देते हैं स्कूल में। तुम्हें फर्स्ट आना है, तुम्हें रेस में फर्स्ट आना है, तुम्हें क्लास में फर्स्ट आना है, तुम्हारे को ये करना है, तुम्हारे को उससे आगे निकलना है, तुम्हारे को इसमें सेलेक्ट होना है, तुम्हारे को आईआईटी में सेलेक्ट होना है, तुम्हारे को इस चीज में सेलेक्ट होना है, 4 ही सीट है तुम्हारे को इसके लिए। समवेयर वी लूज फोकस ऑन अ थिंग विच इज कॉल्ड टीम वर्क, एंड टीम वर्क कम्स फ्रॉम गेम्स एंड स्पोर्ट्स। और आजकल के बच्चे और आजकल के यूथ गेम्स एंड स्पोर्ट्स खेलते नहीं है, वो घर से निकलते नहीं है। अब वो गेम्स एंड स्पोर्ट्स एक ऐसी चीज है, मैं आपको इस माध्यम से रिक्वेस्ट करूंगा कि आप जितना खेल सकते हैं, जो भी समय मिलता है खेलिए, जो भी रुचि है, बैडमिंटन है, स्क्वॉश है, टेनिस है, कुछ भी है, फुटबॉल, क्रिकेट, वॉलीबॉल, एनीथिंग। दी स्पोर्ट्स टीच यू वन थिंग। और अगर आप नहीं कर सकते या फैसिलिटी नहीं है या टाइम नहीं है, एनकरेज योर चिल्ड्रन टू डू इट। एक तो वो सोशल मीडिया और मोबाइल से दूर जाएंगे, दूसरा एक ऐसी चीज सीखेंगे जो दुनिया में कोई और चीज सिखा नहीं सकती है, जो सिर्फ स्पोर्ट्स सिखाती है, एंड दैट इज एबिलिटी टू लूज ग्रेसफुली। अगर इंडिया मैच टीम हारती है तो ऐसा नहीं है कि वो हाथ नहीं मिलाते, ऐसा नहीं है कि वो अगले दिन खेलने नहीं आते, बट आजकल की पीढ़ी अगर उनको कुछ कहीं पे भी नाकामी मिलती है, फेलियर मिलता है, दे आर नॉट वायर्ड टू टेक फेलियर। वो कोई सुसाइड कर देगा, कोई बिल्डिंग से जंप मार देगा, माँ बाप ने थप्पड़ मार दिया तो रेलवे लाइन पे लेट गए, टिक 20 पी ली, पबजी में हार गए तो छत से कूद गए, किसी ने जोर से डांट दिया टीचर ने, उसने तो वो मतलब एक्सट्रीम स्टेप्स ले लेते हैं। ये एक्सेप्टेंस टू टेक फेलियर हमारे सिस्टम में ही नहीं आज। एंड इसका मुख्य कारण मेरी समझ में जो नई पीढ़ी है, ये जाता है आपके स्विगी और ये सारे चीजें जो आती है आपकी, फ्लिपकार्ट, 2 मिनट की सर्विस, ब्लिंकिट। द माइंड इज यूज्ड टू इंस्टेंट ग्रेटिफिकेशन। आपने फोन किया, 5 मिनट के अंदर खाना आ गया, आपने फोन किया, 10 मिनट में आपको जो चाहिए वो मिल गया, आपने खीर ऑर्डर की, अब खीर बनाने में 5-10 मिनट नहीं लगते, बट ये जो जनरेशन है उसको लगता है कि इट इज वेरी इजी। बट जीवन में जब खीर बनाने की बारी आएगी, दे विल बी परेशान कि जब मैं घर में था, छोटा था, तो 10 मिनट में आ जाती थी, अब तो बनाने में मेरे को 2 घंटे लग रहे हैं। तो ये जो डिफरेंस है, ये बहुत बड़ा कारण है आजकल के यूथ में। दे आर वायर्ड दैट द डोपामाइन डोजेस व्हिच दे कंटिन्यूअसली गेट। हर चीज में उनको थम्स अप चाहिए, उनके यार दोस्त उनको एनकरेज करते रहे, तो बहुत ही, चाहे वो कितना भी घटिया बंदा हो, उसको एनकरेजमेंट चाहिए आज की जनरेशन को। अगर उसको कोई बोल दे कि तू बेकार है, तो वो तो मतलब डूब जाएगा कि बोला कि मेरे से अच्छा तो कोई है ही नहीं। एंड दैट बेसिकली कम्स आउट कि उसने किसी और ह्यूमन बीइंग के साथ डील ही नहीं किया। ही इज नॉट अ पार्ट ऑफ अ टीम, एनी टीम, दे आर ऑल इंडिविजुअल्स। Next is one factor I feel essential is resilience. It goes without saying, of all the examples that I gave, all the people whom you have seen have resilience. Most important, most important is attitude. In flying, we always says attitude defines your altitude. Attitude defines your altitude. So आपका एटीट्यूड हर चीज में, चाहे आपको आती हो, नहीं आती हो, पार्टली आती हो, कुछ भी है, आप में दो विनम्रता, जिसको हिंदी में कहते हैं, दैट एक्सेप्टेबिलिटी टू लर्न एंड इम्बाइब, एंड उस भाव से कि मुझे ये काम करना है, ये मेरा काम है, या मैं इस टीम का हिस्सा हूं, या मुझे इस चीज में जुड़ना है, that attitude defines everything in my opinion. That's the positive attitude. And of course, some of these is your leadership. हम सारे बोलते हैं कि मेरा बॉस ऐसा है, मेरा डीन ऐसा है, मेरा डायरेक्टर ऐसा है, मेरा ऐसा है, without realizing कि one day some of you would be on those chairs. All of us sitting in the back bench or in a classroom never feel, but a day will come when you would be facing the audience, a day when you would be facing a large number of people and sitting in chairs where the decisions are very important. It is very important to learn. Please learn and imbibe by observation. Please observe things which don't go well. in your organization, if anything is not going okay, just see how the dean is handling, how the director is handling, how your faculty is handling, how the other scientists. Things will not go the way you have planned. But उसके बाद वो क्या करते हैं, ये आप सब यंग लोगों के लिए एक सबक है, क्योंकि ऐसा नहीं है कि आपकी बारी नहीं आएगी. जब वो जो बिल्ली आती है तो कबूतर आंख बंद कर लेता है, तो आंख बंद करने का टाइम नहीं है. एक दिन आपकी भी बारी आएगी, बिल्ली आपके सामने भी आएगी. But you have to learn while you grow, how were those situations handled. Keep them in mind. If you have good suggestions, please give it. Sometimes they may not be accepted. Very good. But each such journey leaves you with some invaluable lessons. Please do not forget the lessons. Lesson learning is very essential as you grow. और मैं हर जगह, जब भी सर्विस में था, मैं हर जगह जहां भी जाता था, मैं यही कहता था कि as you grow in service, there are many things which you will not like. Some things you may change, some things you may not change. But when you get an opportunity in that chair to change things which you can and which you didn't like as a youngster, you must change. Otherwise, there is no difference between you and the person you criticized. Most of us, when we are young, most of us, when we are growing up, have a lot of issues on a lot of things. But someday life will bring you in a chair where you can make a difference to all those issues which you didn't like. And now if you don't do anything, it means there is no difference between you and the person you criticized while growing up. Please keep that in mind. Next. Unwavering focus. Last is very important. Ability to challenging situations. Situations are changing. Iran-US war is changing. Gulf of Hormuz is blocked. India's fuel supply is not coming. Natural gas is not coming. LPG is not coming. The remuneration from the diaspora in the tune of $110 billion annually is not coming now, because those large number of people have come back. The shipping routes are totally disrupted globally. You're not getting ships also to transport things. How the country's leadership is managing at this stage, very few can visualize. In Pakistan, the fuel is 600 rupees a liter, our neighbor. A gas cylinder is 5,500 rupees per cylinder in Pakistan. You're getting fuel, I don't know, in Delhi is 94 rupees and LPG is around 800 rupees. There is no problem. What must have gone behind the scenes to get to surpass this challenging situation? Very few people can put themselves in the shoes of those decision makers who are working day in and day out. Please appreciate things which you don't see. All of us, look at our country. We all crib, साला अमेरिका में सड़कें ऐसी वैसे है. The American politicians, president also retweeted, India is a hellhole. ठीक है. तो बट अभी कल ही परसों उनके यहाँ डिनर हुआ जहाँ पे फायरिंग हुई, तो उनके पॉलिटिशियंस वाइन की बोतल लेके भाग रहे थे और टेबलों के नीचे छुप रहे थे और थे. तो हेल होल क्या है मुझे नहीं मालूम, बट यू शुड हैव the ability to see and listen to music in this noise, like Dr. Vikram Sarabhai said. And I was overwhelmed when I walked into his room. I thanked Dr. Anil Bhardwaj that day. He said, you visit that room. There is an aura in that room. When I moved around in that room, those people were so special. Our founders were so special. And we must never forget good things that they have left for us to emulate in the days to come. Next, please. Next slide, please. Dr. Bhushit. So, what is true ownership? The mission is mine. Yeah, sorry. The mission is mine. Success or failure rests on my shoulder. No excuse. In military, you take, and say in an IT translation, you can just say, or in your parlance, you can say, it's your project, your responsibility, and it's your legacy. That's how I said that a military leadership, what is a true ownership? ये चीज मेरी है, ये मेरी है। माई ग्रैंड मदर यूज टू बाई वेजिटेबल्स, और वो सब्जी वाले से लेने के बाद से किसी को छूने नहीं देती थी। उसको खुद धोएंगी, उसको खुद काटेंगी, खुद सब्जी बनाएंगी, खुद सबको परोसेंगी, सब खुद करेंगी। एंड में एवरीबडी सेड द ओनरशिप ऑफ एनीथिंग, स्मॉल और बिग, इज योर रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी, इट इज योर लेगेसी। नेक्स्ट। I just remember that you should say it's not my job. You will not say. Then you can say where or when can I help. I will not blame tools, timelines, or teammates. I will ask what can I do before whose fault is this. I'll prepare my team, not just assign tasks. I will own the outcomes and not just the activities. I will stay until the mission succeeds. Major Shatan Singh didn't have winter jackets, but he held Razangla. The Chinese could not come. Those 5,000 Chinese could not cross Razangla. 114 people held him. I was with Major General Ian Cordosa. It's not a part of the script. I just thought I'll narrate another story to you. There was a book launch of Bangladesh. Major General Ian Cordosa. He is called Kartus Saab, also in the army. You can Google about him. He was part of the Gurkha regiment which was asked to take over Sylhet in 1971 war. And he, General Cordosa, he is around 90 years old. I was speaking to him the other day. He says, हमारे पास कुछ नहीं था, ना राशंस थे, ना कपड़े थे, सर्दी का टाइम था, तो मैंने अपने जवानों से पूछा कि तुम्हारे को बैकपैक में, every army backpack is he can carry about 20 kgs of load on his back. उसके अंदर उसका सब कुछ होता है, कपड़े, कंबल, राशन, खाना पीना, यू नो, हैंड ग्रेनेड्स, वेपन्स, सब चीज उसी में, उसी 20 किलो में होता है। एक राइफल होती है और एक उसके पास अपना विवेक होता है जिसमें सोना होता है। दैट इज हाउ एन आर्मी जवान मार्चेस, ठीक है। एंड ही मार्चेस अबाउट 80 to 100 kilometers in jungles with all that thing on his back every day. So he asked his people, what would you like to carry? So he says, we will all carry ammunition. तो कहता है हम सब एमुनिशन लेके गए। जब वो लड़ाई चल रही थी सिलेट की, एक माइन पे इनका, ही वाज अ मेजर दैट टाइम, मेजर कॉर्डोसा का पैर उड़ गया ब्लास्ट में, माइन में। हिज लेग गॉट ब्लोन ऑफ। विजुअलाइज करो क्या हुआ होगा। एंड यू नो व्हाट ही डिड? ही आस्क्ड वन ऑफ हिज गोरखा सोल्जर्स टू कट हिज लेग। दैट गोरखा सोल्जर कट हिज लेग। आप पढ़ना उसके बारे में। He tied it around, एक डॉक्टर था, उनको 4-5 इंजेक्शन दिए पेन किलर्स के, and he continued fighting. He continued fighting with his leg cut in 1971 war, and 130 people captured Sylhet town, wherein when Pakistani brigade of 3,200 people surrendered. Of the 78,000 of the 93,000 people who surrendered in 71 war, उसमें से जो सिलेट में सरेंडर हुआ था वो 3,500 पाकिस्तानी surrendered to 120 odd people of this Gurkha regiment, which was led by Major Cordosa. Read these stories. Read, these are real life people sitting within us. Please don't have to go abroad to Harvard or some other, you know, to learn management or leadership. It is right existing here only. हमारे यहीं पे है, सब कुछ हमारे यहीं है, ठीक है। So you still have laptops, coffee and air condition, तो आप enjoy कीजिए। आपके पास कोई excuse नहीं होना चाहिए, ठीक है जीवन। Next.
You're muted for some reason. Suddenly mute हो गया। Yeah, अभी आ रहा है। Yes, now it's.
What I was trying to say is that all of us can live like a soldier. You don't need a uniform to walk with pride. All of us can walk with pride. It is not that we are not capable to become a soldier or an officer. It is just that the seats are very limited. I feel so sad. इतने अच्छे बच्चे मतलब हर बारी आते हैं सिलेक्शन के लिए, बट वो सीट्स ही लिमिटेड है. ऐसे आपके यहाँ पे आई एम श्योर हंड्रेड्स एंड हंड्रेड्स ऑफ पीपल वुड बी अप्लाइंग टू गेट इनटू योर वर्टिकल, बट आपके पास उतनी ही सीट्स है. इट इज नॉट दैट कि वो जो 83.45 वाला सिलेक्ट हुआ और 83.44 वाला जो रिजेक्ट हुआ है उनमें कोई अंतर है, सेम. बट एक कट ऑफ था, वो आ गया, दूसरे वाला नहीं आ पाया. तो प्लीज do not feel, but you can lead your life the way with discipline, have sharpness, lead with integrity and your love for the country. मैं बार बार ये चीज साबित को बोलता हूँ कि 15 अगस्त और 26 जनवरी को हाथ में झंडा लेके ऐसे घूमने वाला इज नॉट लव फॉर द कंट्री. इट शुड ट्रांसलेट इनटू एवरी एक्शन. अब रेड लाइट पे जंप नहीं करना, कचरे को उसमें डालना, सारे रूल्स रेगुलेशन फॉलो करना, हमारे को लगता है वो नहीं कर रहा तो मैं क्यों करूं. अरे तुम अपना करो, बाकी की बात में देखेंगे. बट हर कोई मतलब वो है. तो यू हैव टू, these habits have to change you inside out, and that's my take. And exactly I took 1 hour, Dr. Pallav Raju, I finished at 5 o'clock, I told you, and now I'm open to question answers. Is there any more slide left, Dr. Bhushan? These are my handles. If any of you wish to engage with me, I have my own YouTube channel. I put content. I'm on Instagram, I'm on LinkedIn, and I'm on Twitter. So if any of you wish to engage in your own time, if you had some questions which you couldn't ask today, डॉक्टर साहब से डर के अगर आपको या डीन से डर के कुछ क्वेश्चन बाद में पूछने हो तो आप इंडिपेंडेंटली भी पूछ सकते हैं. आई अंडरस्टैंड ग्रुप डायनेमिक्स. So you're free to connect with me. Not for this also, anything. If I am of any help, any stage for anybody, I'll be more than happy to help you if I can. Next, please. Thank you very much, and Jai Hind.
Thank you very much, Air Marshal Dr. Sanjeev Kapoor ji, for an excellent and fantastic talk. You took us through all this inspiring stories, not just from armed forces, but also from our people that we see around us, and we relate to them more often than some of the armed forces people. But it's truly incredible, and especially the things that you emphasize, like discipline, resilience, owning up the responsibility of anything that we do. Not necessarily all these things apply to all of us, not necessarily just the armed forces. So thanks again for the fantastic talk. I'm sure there must be several questions. So I would now request our participants to raise their hands, and I'll slowly go and call each of one of you, so that there's less chaos. Also, in the meantime, probably Bhushit will be looking at YouTube channel where people, if they have any questions, would be putting. So we'll coordinate by that. So first we'll take the questions from the WebEx platform. So I see Professor Anil Bharadwaj, who has promptly raised his hand. So Professor Bharadwaj, please go ahead while I look at other participants.
Thank you, Namit, and thanks, Dr. Sanjeev Kapoor, for fantastic talk. Also reminding us that there is no shortcut to disciplines. One has to be disciplined to achieve something in the life. And I would like to tell you that you mentioned about Kamya Karthikeyan. We actually called her in person in our auditorium to deliver the Vyakhyaan, which was also attended by not just the PRL colleagues, but also their family members, particularly their younger children, because we wanted to, bring that kind of environment among our kids, of our colleagues, so that they are inspired by the type of work, the type of discipline these people live and achieve such glory. And also, I was aware about certain people whom you mentioned, but of course, not of all. So it was also a reminder that we have people who are brave and who have achieved distinctions in their life. I just wanted you, from your own examples of any fight which you had in your career where you had faced certain real challenges, which was very different in nature, where you could decide of your own to take care of the situations? Anything which you feel like narrating us?
We were going for an exercise in 2008 to America. We were 6 Su-30s, and we were going across from India. The first landing, we can't overfly Pakistan. We went via Doha, Doha to Turkey, from Turkey to France. France, so there's an island in Atlantic called Azores. It's a Portuguese island. The So we landed there, and once we got airborne from there, the complete formation, because you are totally heavy, you have to fly over Atlantic. The flight is about 4.5 hours. There is nothing. You take off from this island, and the only thing you will see is the US and the Canadian coast, which will come after 4 hours. There is nothing in it. So we got airborne, complete, and the fuel was full, everything was full, and one aircraft had minor problem, the other one had a major problem. The oxygen started to leak immediately after takeoff. Now, the support aircraft had full fuel, 110 tons. Each of these aeroplanes, fighters, are fully loaded with about 30 tons of fuel each. And you can't land with maximum fuel, because there's a max landing limit of each fuel. So now a decision to dump fuel and land back. But once you land back, that window of weather goes away, because by the time you repair, by the time you refuel, by the time you again group up, it will be afternoon, evening, and then by night you cannot cross Atlantic. So all those challenges, and I was a formation leader. So these challenges were playing in your mind. What decision to take? So on a split second, I decided, in any case, we have to dump fuel to land. So we will go to a stage where we reach that fuel by which we can land. And if not okay by that time, we will return. So I said we will continue. So, there is something called as a gut feeling. In aviation, we work, all of us have something called as a gut feeling. It is called sixth sense. It has various names. But my request to all who are watching this thing, use your gut feeling. Use the more gut feeling you will use, because in any situation, the things are not clear. It is vague. In life also, the decisions are very vague. जैसे हमारे टाइम पे you have taken to a girl, इससे शादी करो. Now everything is कुछ नहीं पता. आज के टाइम का नहीं है. But gut feeling tells you कि no, this is okay. So or anything you pick up a vehicle, you pick up a plot, you pick up a house, you pick up. It's more out of gut feeling that a person takes a decision which something within him or her tells, hey, this is okay. So something within me tell me, okay, let us try. And that 4 hours were the longest 4 hours of my life, because we had to come down because the oxygen, for benefit of all of your scientists, for the human body can breathe comfortably till 10,000 feet. Then you need pressure breathing till about 20. Then beyond 20,000 feet, you need support. Your lungs are not designed to take that. So when you have an oxygen failure, you of course have to come down. When you come down, your fuel consumption increases. So as such, you're over Atlantic. You have fuel consumption which is going very high. So but we kept calculating, and I was only praying that the wind support us, because there is no other place to divert. We are over sea. There is nothing, and you can't come back also. There is something called as point of no return. In flying, PNR we call it. So beyond that point, there is no option but to continue going ahead. So once I crossed PNR, my heart beat, because there was no way you could come back to this place, and we have decided to go to US, the main island. Fortunately, we just landed with all their support. Weather held us, wind supported us. Like that, I can narrate so many incidents. Like when I was making this PM's aeroplane, I was dealing with about 20 agencies, including Pentagon, including Boeing Company, including Ministry of Civil Aviation, MHA, MEA, MOD, Air Force, Air India. Everybody had a stake in this aeroplane because these two Boeing 777s were to be, given from Air India to the Prime Minister's office. Now, push, pull, pressure, and the company in US hired about 6, 7 another vendors. Somebody was doing, total air conditioning, refit. There's a hospital in that aircraft. So one company was doing the hospital. There is a video projection system. There's a conference room. There is upholstery. The complete hardware and the software of the system has to be changed. So there were so many things, and it had to be produced in that time. So like that, hundreds of decisions in each day you have to deal inter-branch, inter-ministry. But it's a very good learning experience each day when you come out of this. I can just offhand think of. There were so many others which I can't share, but some other day, some other time I will.
Great. Thank you. Thank you, Dr. Rajiv Kapoor.
So, any other questions? You could also type in the chat box in case there's an audio problem. Bhushit, in the meantime, if there are any questions, I'm just scrolling down, just looking at the names carefully in case somebody has raised their hands.
Can I go ahead, Namit?
Yeah, please.
Yeah. First of all, thank you very much for this very highly, inspirational and motivational talk with real life examples. And out of the several examples that you have given, I had, this question on, Lieutenant Colonel Dilma and Rupa. Can you, just share with us, like, because it was a sailboat, so they were actually had the what do you say, the weather wise probably cooperated, or it was a how did they plan the route and
Globally, the toughest weather in sailing, uh, the winds changed. The olden times when there were no powered engines, the global trade worked on winds. So the winds, people from Europe and other things came when the winds were easterlies, and they went back when the winds were westerlies. So 6 monthly, the winds changed. So the sailing around the world is planned as per the prevailing winds at that place at that time, because it's not a powered boat. So at which season, at which latitude you have to be at what time was designated, and they had carved out the previous voyages like this. Which month did they go? Then they interacted. There's another naval officer called Tommy. He also has circumnavigated the globe twice, but that was a powered boat. So he helped them in a big way. He is retired, he settled in Middle East. So I was hearing somebody, so he had come, he sat with them, this voyage was planned. And this was basically an adventure stay, but never ever. Like I inducted girls at NDA. I was the commandant when the first batch of girls joined National Defense Academy. So when you do something first time, de novo, it brings in a huge amount of challenge. Never ever in the history of the last 75 years, the National Defense Academy in Pune had girls. So now, how do you get girls into National Defense Academy? What would be their curriculum? Where will they stay? Where will they change? Where will be their, washrooms, classrooms? Any adjustments required? Physical standards? Are there going to be any change? Like that, who will teach them? Because most of the training for a cadet when they join the academy is contact, PT, parade, swimming, drill. Now we don't have women instructors. And the biggest challenge I had at that stage was when the Air Force Academy, IMA, Naval Academy, the girls come after graduation. They are adults. They come from school. So that POSCO Act, other things, if a child complains that, I was not touched appropriately. So how do you handle these kind of things with the challenges? What benchmark to put for their physical thing? So like that, I'm just narrating, but it happened. We all work together and things. So in their case, this South American, I was reading somewhere, I've not met them, these two officers, but this South American Cape of Good Hope. There encountered the toughest weather. This sails broke off. This thing. Now to climb on top, to put another sail to bring it down, it's a big challenge for a girl. The girls' physical ability. There's only one profession in the world. The girls have taken over everything. I was reading the other day. In all industries and all work, the girls are now representing. There is only one profession which is left, is shipbuilding. The shipbuilding industry still employs people from the age of 20 to 40, male. Because everything required in shipbuilding requires primarily physical elements is made. So here these girls did execute, and the interview which I was watching, they went through extreme hardship, but in the end they came out all of this. So this is a lesson which I thought I'll convey. If you wish, I can speak to some naval guests to get these two lady officers someday to come and interact with all of you and share first-hand stories.
Wonderful. Thank you. Thank you for sharing. Yes.
Thank you very much, Professor Palamraju. If there are any more questions on the WebEx panel, colleagues who have joined on the WebEx, or I think I'm not seeing anything. I just tried YouTube. Mushit, can you confirm? There's nothing, right?
No, there's nothing.
There's nothing. So, sir, thank you very much. I think it's very difficult to really ask. Oh, okay. Richa has one question. Yeah, just popped up. So, Richa is asking, who influenced your pursuit of excellence the most?
My grandfather was there. He always, the child used to help him. His uniform in the evening. I used to, the child, help him, put his ribbons and so somewhere. But through your forum, for benefit, I may be much older to most of you here. I can share something. There are three things. One is information, second is knowledge, and third is wisdom. All of us loosely use these three words: information, knowledge, and wisdom. Now, all of you are scientists, all of you are this thing. So in your parlance, I will just give an example. The sunlight takes 8 minutes 30 seconds to reach Earth. Now, this is information. There is one sun, 9 planets, elliptical path, day, night, season, solar system, all that. That is all knowledge. So you will get all the information and all the knowledge today from chat GPT, internet, books, everywhere. But what you will not get from any of these things is wisdom. Like the question I was asked, who inspired you? Is because every day as a child, I used to listen to a story of my grandmother before sleeping. She used to narrate story. वो लकड़हारा था, उसकी कुल्हाड़ी टूट गई, वो पानी में गिर गई, फिर उसने बहुत गरीब था, उसने पूजा की, भगवान प्रकट वेश बदल के, पहले उन्होंने सोने की दी, भाई ये नहीं है, चांदी की दी, फिर उन्होंने और all the stories all of us have heard. But उसके बाद my grandmother seeds of wisdom in one's head, and those seeds germinated after a few years. कि बेटा कुछ भी हो जाए, किसी का कुछ भी धन पड़ा हो, कोई भी चीज है उसको बुरी नजर नहीं डालनी चाहिए, ऐसा है, कुछ भी हो उसकी मदद करनी चाहिए. हमारा जैसे मैंने अभी सुना है भगवान राम की कहानी, मेरी दादी ने सुनाई कि अपना देश बहुत आगे होता है, देश से ऊपर कुछ नहीं होता, माँ से ऊपर कुछ नहीं होता, बड़ों की सेवा करनी चाहिए. So this example of wisdom which I wanted to give, wisdom is what? Nothing on the surface of the earth will survive if there is no sun. You can't breathe if there is no sun. You can't see any color if there is no sun. You can't grow anything if there is no sun. हम जब तुलसी में देते हैं पानी तो मैक्सिमम ऑक्सीजन निकलती है. पहाड़ों में लोग सब्जियां सुखाते हैं सर्दियों में, वो सूरज में सुखाते हैं. हमारी मदर ग्रैंड मदर अचार डालती थी धूप में रखने के लिए, वो अचार सालों साल खराब नहीं होते, धूप में रखे हुए थे. मतलब मैं आपको 1000 एग्जांपल दे दूं. ये जो सारी चीजें सन रिलेटेड, ये विजडम है, ये किसी बुक में नहीं है, ये हार्वर्ड में और इसमें नहीं पढ़ाई जाएंगी. ये एक अनपढ़ आदमी को गांव में विजडम है. He may not have the information or knowledge, but he is wise. So my this thing to all of you, the young generation, is wisdom is always passed from one generation to the other, from more knowledgeable to the other, from more experienced to the less experienced. So until you find time to sit with elders, until you find time to sit with more experienced or knowledgeable people, you will never get wisdom. You will at best get information or knowledge. But in the end, what this generation lacks and what is needed for future is wisdom. So my grandmother, in a very big way, till she was alive, put in lots of seeds in my mind, which I feel has helped me in my journey so far.
I also see DP Pradhan. Pradhanji, please unmute yourself and ask your question.
Thank you, sir. Sir, thank you for a wonderful insight to the leadership or bravehearts of our forces played in different wars,
Thank you.
exhibiting their valor and given their highest sacrifice, that is their life. Sir, my question is, the wars fought in the past, that is up to 1999 Kargil war, is completely changed now. We have seen of Sindoor where not a single soldier crossed border or NOC, but still inflicted a lot of damage to our adversary. My question is, in the changing scenario of war, where do we stand with comparison to our biggest adversary, that is China?
Thank you very much. I generally speak on these forums, these topics. So as I was on leadership, so thank you very much for putting me in my comfort zone. Now, we did exceptionally well in Sindoor. That has a reason. आप उसको चाहे जुगाड़ कह लें, चाहे अडेप्टेबिलिटी कह लें, हमने 1970s की गन, चाहे वो L-70 है, Zu-23 है, शिल्का है, पिचोरा है, आर्मी की है, नेवी की है, एयरफोर्स की है, उसको हमारे रडार्स के साथ इंटीग्रेट कर दिया, चाहे वो आकाश एंड लेटेस्ट है, IACCs के साथ इंटीग्रेट कर दिया. ये जो adaptability है, जो S-400s हैं, which are not working so well in Russia-Ukraine war, did exceptionally well in India-Pakistan conflict in the month of May last. हमारे सियाचिन से लेके और सर क्रीक तक हमारे सारे सेंसर शूटर्स were all integrated with artificial intelligence. This adaptability by our DRDO, by our scientists, is, in my opinion, the defining thing that happened in Operation. You are absolutely right. There was no contact, no dogfight. There was no human to human, either of the army or the navy or of the air force in this conflict. But the time has now come for, working with standoff weapons, with drones, with missiles, with precision guided weapons, with long ranges of this thing. And we're seeing it in this Israel-Iran war also, US-Israel war also. The warfare is changing in a very big way. Now, specifically coming to your question, we are way, way behind in our capability compared to a northern neighbor. First, our squadron strength is depleted. Our squadron strength today is around 30. Authorized strength is 42. Required strength is around 60 squadrons, 60 squadrons. And each squadron has about 18 aeroplanes. You can just put the figure. If the 114 Rafales which the government of India is asking the French government to give us in G2G deal, I don't know whether it happens, doesn't happen. But still will make up about 7 to 8 squadrons. We are still short. The biggest drawback is our output from HAL. The HAL, which was supposed to work and produce engines, and if you go a little behind, your sister concerns of GTRE could not produce engine. Now, engine manufacturing, it's a breathing engine. The most complex machine ever to be designed by human beings, which is in use, is a jet engine of a fighter aeroplane. It is more complicated than a spacecraft. It is more complicated than any other machine that a human being has built. Now, only 4 to 5 countries have manufactured a fighter jet engine, and they don't want to part with this technology. They have taken 20 to 30 years. It requires, you're all scientists, it requires metallurgy of the caliber, the crystals, the nanometric kind of precision cutting, the test beds, the labs. Either we don't have, or if we have, they are not of that level. We don't have the equipment. So, long and short, our aircrafts could not join our inventory. We are still largely dependent on imports. The imports come with a lot of sanctions. You cannot change this thing. You cannot integrate a Russian weapon on a French platform. You cannot put a French missile on a Su-30. So all these kind of embargoes are put, and India is trying its best to fight with what we have. This is not the correct way to go about. We are working. After obstacles, a lot of things have changed. The first change that has come is the AMCA project, the fifth generation fighter, which we are manufacturing now. First time the HAL has been kept out of this. So the government has decided the design would be of ADA and the Tata Advanced, Bharat Forge and L&T would be manufacturing. Mahindra has done contract with Embraer. The Lockheed has done contract with I think so Adani. The HAL has done contract with Su-30s. The Saffron projects have come up in Nagpur, in Hyderabad, the MRO facility of M88 engines. The Leonardo helicopters, which is erstwhile Augusta Westland, is setting up its manufacturing with Adani in India. So more and more people are now coming into India. The C295 manufacturing closer to your place at Vadodara is started. The first aircraft is likely to be rolled out in a couple of months' time, totally made in India. It's about 40% indigenous, which will go to 70% indigenization. These aeroplanes will join Indian Air Force, plus would be utilized for our Udan scheme and inland travel to tier 2, tier 3 cities. We are growing. Can we grow better? Yes. Can our government infuse more money? The basic, in my appreciation, do not have the research mindset. Our education system does not encourage a total out of the box thinking or an innovative thinking. As a child, when a child raises his hand in a school and asks some question which is totally offbeat, which is totally unique, he is made to sit down. If he writes any answer in exam, his marks are cut because it's not as per the book. So somewhere, subconsciously, we are promoting individualistic. We are promoting a typical thought process and the originality, be it in IITs, Institute of Science, NITs, that kind of research where the academia, the users, the scientists work together on the projects. And that is what is defining Chinese, Israeli, and the Americans. There, in all these countries, 20 years are sitting on the front line. The Israelis fighting the Hezbollah in Lebanon is the drones are being flown by 18 to 20-year-old college students. The day we reach that comfort level in our country, wherein the young boys and girls are made a part of the system, they go back on the drawing boards, they sit and design things, they again come back, they validate here. The barriers and the barricades in our country, which we have, wherein we, especially the government, wherein we are averse to people entering our premises, interacting with us openly, and the silos in which we work, interdepartment, interorganization, that has to go. That has to go. The Chinese have learned it much faster than us. In China, if any startup is doing well, the PLA will come to them and says, okay, we will help you. And if that boy is good, they say, we will fund everything for you. You come and they will take that boy and startup thing into an army camp, the Chinese. And the Chinese will take you to an extent where everything has dual purpose. The Baidu car is manufactured. The complete American aviation industry, both for Lockheed, Northman, Gruppen, Boeing, everything. They produce military aeroplanes, they produce civil aeroplanes. The sixth generation fighter which the Americans are building, 3 private companies are bid for it. The day Indian 3 private companies start to bid for our sixth generation fighter in complete manufacturing in India, I think so we would have evolved. But we are on the direction, we are still got a long way to go. I'll leave it there.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
There's a question by Sanjay ji. He's asking a general question that how does one motivate young kids? And he says that due to social media, online games, etc., younger generation just pretends to listen to the parents but never pays any heed to their actual advices. So what is the best strategy according to you?
Through your forum, Dr. Bhagwat, I would make an appeal to all and narrate a story. I always narrate stories and I learned it from my grandmother. You can convey so many things by a story. In California, there was a boy last year. I went to give a talk at the IRS Academy at NADT in Nagpur. And the day I was going, I read it in the paper. And I covered it live there. This boy had a bowel movement issue wherein his gut had some medical issue. This child was in 10th or 11th class. And the parents approached the school to say that he cannot attend the classes because of his medical condition. And the school asked the child to join online. So this child was very good in sports, games, outdoors. You can all Google and check about the story. What happened is that his best friend became ChatGPT. Now, this boy went into a shell. For everything, the parents were both working, whole day he was at home. For everything, he started asking ChatGPT, what should I do? What should I do for this? What is the answer to this question? Well, my teacher has asked me this thing. I want to call up so and so. What are the options I should speak? So the ChatGPT became his best friend, the child's. A stage reached where this child entered depression. He would not meet anybody. He would not come out of his room. He would not interact with anybody. The parents were too busy, felt it's a passing phase. He's going through a medical this thing. Once or twice took him to the doctor. Doctor gave some more pills, and we left it there. A day reached when this child wanted to commit suicide. He was pushed to such a level of depression. He asked ChatGPT that I want to commit suicide, and ChatGPT gave options. How should? Then he went to the market, got a rope. He showed the rope to ChatGPT to ask whether this rope is fit enough to take my weight. And ChatGPT told him, no, get the next size. So he went again, got the next size, hung himself, died. Now the parents have sued ChatGPT in America. So why I gave this example is that we have left our children into custody of these monstrous, algorithm-driven social media people. They are ruining our life. All of us who are on the screen now, and most of us knew everybody's phone numbers 15 years ago. Please think. All of us knew every route to everybody's house or place in every city we lived. Today, we do not know anybody's number, telephone number. Today, we cannot go from place A to place B without Google. A stage will reach not long from now wherein we will stop using our brain. Everything we will ask either ChatGPT or Claude. Now what happens is your originality goes, your mental processing goes. A stage will reach wherein the machine, the robot will wake you up in the morning, tell that you go to the kitchen. I have already put 300 ml of water to boil. You weigh 25 milligrams of tea, put it in that. So you will weigh 25 milligrams of tea and put it in that. Then it says boil it for 3 minutes. Then say add sugar. I have already weighed and kept it. So that sugar a robot will put in your tea. In the end, a stage will reach where the human will feel without a machine, I cannot make a cup of tea myself. And that is not far. Because, what you are pushed through by this Facebook, Instagram, social media, YouTube, are these algorithm-driven narratives. So my request to all of you is, please educate your children. This generation does not listen. This generation does not blindly obey the elder generation. And that is the wisdom part I was covering a little while ago. The generation is not wise. They may know 100 more things that you and I knew at their age. They will tell you everything about everything, but they are not wise. You are wise. You have to somehow get them out from this by motivating them, cajoling them, and take them out to use their cognitive mind as much as they can. Tell them that there is a real world. If tomorrow somebody's fall ill, they have 100 friends on social media, none of them will take them to the hospital. I can challenge you, ask your children to write somebody that I need 5,000 rupees for something. How many of them will send? None. But you are concerned, your friend living in Barakpur, उसकी बिल्ली बीमार है, उसके लिए तुम अभी अपनी पूरी एनर्जी लगा रहे हो, एक को वेट से मिलवा रहे हो, उससे कह रहे हो, तुम्हारी अपनी माँ 2 कमरे छोड़ के बीमार पड़ी है, तुम्हारे को उसकी दवाई की चिंता नहीं. This generation does not want to take responsibility. The biggest analysis of mine is they do not want to take responsibility. अगर आज के बच्चे को किसी को बोलो बेटा रेलवे स्टेशन चले जाओ, दादी को ले आओ, उनका एक एक्सरे कराते हुए पनीर लेते हुए घर आ जाओ, जैसे हमने किया था बचपन में, इनके हाथ पैर खुल जाएंगे। फिर वो आंसर देंगे कि ट्रेन से कौन आता है, मैं ओला कर दूंगा, गाड़ी से आ जाएंगी, मैं नेटमेट से दवाई मंगा देता हूँ, मैं ऑनलाइन ये बुक कर देता हूँ। बेसिकली वो रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी, ना ये शादी करना चाहते हैं ये जनरेशन, ना ये घर बनाना चाहते हैं, ना ये बच्चे करना चाहते हैं, ना ये कुछ करना चाहते हैं। इट्स अ स्केरी थिंग बिकॉज अंडरलाइन फैक्टर इज ये लोग रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी बच्चे नहीं लेना चाहते। एंड आपका दायित्व है इनको इसमें से बाहर निकालना, ये जिस जंजाल में फंसे हुए बच्चे, और उसके लिए यू हैव टू स्पेंड क्वालिटी टाइम विद। The only thing lacking is we compensate our time with items. एक आईपैड ले लिया, एक नया फोन ले लिया, छुट्टी पे घुमाने को ले गए, फॉरेन ले गए, इधर घुमाने के लिए। वी फील कि हम वही चीजें नहीं कर सके, हम अपने बच्चों को दे दें। ऐसा नहीं है। मेरी जो समझ है कि यू हैव टू टेक एंड यू शुड नो, किससे आप बुरे बनो वो आपको हेट करेंगे, वो आपको वो देंगे, आपसे परेशान रहेंगे। मैंने अपने बच्चों को कुछ नहीं लेके दिया, मैंने अपने बच्चों को केंद्रीय विद्यालय में पढ़ाया। मैंने अपने बच्चों को केंद्रीय विद्यालय में पेन से बधाई रहा था, केवी पिकेट में पढ़े थे, डॉक्टर पलम राजू से मैं भी थोड़ी देर पहले बात कर, बिकॉज मैंने उनको जब डीपीएस में डाला, मैंने देखा उनका स्टैंडर्ड खराब हो गया, उनकी मैनर्स एटिकेट्स, वो 6ठी-7वीं में थे, उनकी बात करने की तमीज खत्म हो गई। मेरे से बहुत लड़े मेरे बच्चे, मेरी वाइफ और 2 बच्चे मेरे से खूब लड़े, क्योंकि एयर कंडीशन स्कूल से सडनली वो केंद्रीय विद्यालय में आ गया था, पंखे भी नहीं चल रहे थे, ठीक है, तो अब तो गर्मी का टाइम था, तो अब वो मेरे से रोज लड़े। बट एंड में आज जो मेरे बच्चे हैं उसका बहुत बड़ा श्रेय उस केंद्रीय विद्यालय को जाता है, मेरी समझ के दे आर brought up in it. So do not give your children comforts and things before they deserve. Have checks and balances. Please check their phones, check their devices, see with whom they are moving around, see with whom they are talking. आप बुरे बनोगे, गाली देंगे, दरवाजा बंद करेंगे, आपसे लड़ेंगे, 2 दिन बात नहीं करेंगे, इट इज स्टिल वर्क। वो ऐसा जो इंसिडेंट मैंने अभी कैलिफोर्निया वाला सुनाया है, these are real incidents. So my request to this person जिन्होंने क्वेश्चन पूछा है कि इट इज अ वेब इन विच, एक मकड़ी का जाल है, हम सब इसमें फंसते जा रहे हैं, हमें विदाउट रियलाइजिंग हम टेक के नाम पे, कंफर्ट के नाम पे, एंड देयर इज अ सेइंग आल्सो इन इंग्लिश, यू गिव मोर कंफर्ट टू पीपल एंड इट स्टार्ट्स टू टेक अवे योर एस्पिरेशन एंड गोल्स अवे फ्रॉम। आज के बच्चे ना धूप में निकल सकते हैं, ना मेहनत कर सकते हैं, ना कहीं चल के जा सकते हैं, ना पहाड़ी चढ़ सकते हैं, ना समुद्र में तैर सकते हैं, ना नदी में नहा सकते हैं, ना कुएं में जंप मार सकते हैं, ना आउटडोर गेम खेल सकते हैं, ना कुछ खेल सकते हैं। बट ज्ञान उनको पूरा है, फुल इंफॉर्मेशन, फुल नॉलेज पूरा है, एंड उसके बल पर उनको लगता है कि वो जीवन को नेगोशिएट कर लेंगे। ये सबसे बड़ी मिथ है, मेरी समझ में है। तो आप ऑल ऑफ अस either have had teenage children or have gone through that phase. It's a very difficult phase, I can say, but we have to find a way within our own 4 walls to take them out of this mess.
Professor Som Sharma has a question. So,
Sanjeev Sir, I think partly you answered my questions. A very nice and very informative talk. Thank you so much, Sanjeev Sir ji. That basically, as you told, we have to be enemies at home.
बिल्कुल 200।
But
मेरे बच्चे अभी भी कई दिन मेरे से बात नहीं करते, मतलब वो फौज में है, वो कई ऑन सर्टेन इश्यूज आई डोंट एग्री विद एंड आई पुट माय फुट डाउन। बट जब वो स्टेज के आएंगे, जब वो अपने आप रियलाइज करें, सी आप, मैंने आपको फर्स्ट, आप बुरा बनिए, आप पूरी परिवार के, अब मैंने आपको उदाहरण अपना दिया, मेरे घर में 6 महीने जी मेरे से बात नहीं की, हमारा स्कूल जो बदल दिया। बट जब मेरा बच्चा नेवल एकेडमी ट्रेनिंग के लिए जा रहा था, वो मेरे कुक और ड्राइवर के पैर छू के गए, मैंने नहीं बोला, आई डिड टेल हिम। ये सब केंद्रीय विद्यालय की देन।
right.
अगर वो नीचे पढ़ रहा होता, उसके कान में एक बाली होती, एक टैटू होता, ठीक है, और वो कहीं और काम कर रहा था।
नहीं सर, वो तो सही है, बट थोड़ा सा उसमें मैं पूछना ये चाह रहा था, क्योंकि जैसे क्या कहते हैं ना, जब कुएं में ही भांग घुरी हुई है, एक कहावत हमारी तरफ कही जाती है, जब कुएं में भांग घुरी हुई है, तो उस भांग के नशे से हम कैसे अपने आप को, आपने तरीके तो बड़े अच्छे अच्छे बताए, लेकिन वो तरीके जो हैं वो काफी बार जो क्या है कामयाब हो सकते हैं, और काफी बार क्या और रिबिलियन बना सकते हैं उनको। काफी बार ये आजकल की जनरेशन ऐसी है ना, दे बिकम मोर रिबिलियन। सो उस पॉइंट पे आपका क्या सुझाव है?
ठीक कह रहे हैं, मैं आपसे 200% सहमत हूँ। ये जो जनरेशन है वो अपने दोस्त की 1000 बार सुनेगी, आपकी नहीं सुनेगी, नहीं सुनेगी। तो आप एक तो ये कर सकते हैं कि इनके जो फ्रेंड सर्कल है, समाओ अगर उसमें कुछ बच्चे हैं जो वाइजर हैं इस पीढ़ी से, रिलेटिव टर्म है विजडम की, तो अगर कुछ बच्चे वाइजर हैं उनके थ्रू इन्फ्लुएंस करवाइए। इनके अपने कोई परिचित हैं, रिलेटिव वगैरह आपके जिनसे परिचित, उनके थ्रू कराइए। बिकॉज आप पेरेंट्स आर विलेंस, एक स्टेज आती है बच्चे जब रिवेल एज में आते हैं, जब वो मतलब माँ बाप को विलन देखते हैं, तो हम सब उस एज से निकले हैं और आप कहीं निकल रहे होंगे उस स्टेज से, तो इट्स नॉर्मल। बट जब उनको रियलाइजेशन होती है, देयर इज अ सेइंग आल्सो इन इंग्लिश, व्हेन द चाइल्ड रियलाइजेस माय फादर वाज राइट, ही हैज अ सन व्हिच सेज दैट माय फादर डजंट नो एनीथिंग। तो उनको जब रियलाइजेशन आएगी तो काफी देरी हो जाएगी। मेरा सिर्फ यही डर है कि ये वो जो चैट जीपीटी वाले मैंने अभी आपको कहानी सुनाई कि बच्चा अगर पॉइंट ऑफ नो रिटर्न पे चला गया, जहां से उसको खींच के लाना बहुत, आजकल काउंसलर्स हैं, देयर आर प्रोफेशनल पीपल, डॉक्टर्स, साइकोलॉजिस्ट, साइकेट्रिस्ट व्हिच हैव दिस थिंग, बट किसी ना किसी को उनके पास जाना पड़ेगा, किसी ना किसी को मिलवाना पड़ेगा काउंसलर से। अगर एक्सट्रीम स्टेज पे बच्चे पहुंच गए हैं इस एडिक्शन को और वो आपकी बात नहीं सुन रहे हैं किसी भी, यू विल हैव टू टेक एक्सट्रीम स्टेप, चाहे बुरा बनना पड़े, बट यू आर मीनिंग गुड फॉर द चाइल्ड, एंड दैट इज व्हाट आई कैन सजेस्ट। मेरे पास, आई एम नॉट ए क्वालिफाइड डॉक्टर और
थैंक यू सर, थैंक यू, दैट्स वेरी नाइस, थैंक यू।
So I think there's one last question that Karthik is asking. He's just asking, you narrated many stories, particularly from the armed forces. Is there any book which contains such stories so that children could be encouraged, or is there some resource material? I think that's what, somewhere where a child could be encouraged to look at.
There are a lot of books on armed forces stories. एक तो मुझे अमर चित्र कथा, एक कॉमिक बुक आती है, आई रिकॉल सीइंग, I was traveling somewhere, somebody showed it to me a few years ago. उन्होंने ये जो गैलेंट्री अवार्ड विनर्स के जो हैं वॉर हीरोज, उसके ऊपर वो बनाई है एक छोटी सी बुकलेट, दैट यू कुड लुक एट इट, और यू गूगल स्टोरीज एंड वेलर्स। नहीं तो आप कुछ भी मत कीजिए, आप एक लिस्ट टाइप कीजिए अपने इंटरनेट पे, लिस्ट ऑफ परमवीर चक्रस ऑफ भारत एंड लिस्ट ऑफ हाईएस्ट महावीर चक्रस एंड वीर चक्रस ऑफ इंडियन आर्म फोर्सेस, उनकी लिस्ट आ जाएगी। उनके नाम आप चैट जीपीटी पर डाल दीजिए, प्लीज टेल मी अबाउट देम, तो वो आपको पूरा निकाल के दे दे पूरा। तो वो उसके छोटे छोटे पार्ट बच्चों को शाम को आप 6 से 7, 8, 9, डिनर के पहले, डिनर के बाद उनके साथ बैठिए, उनसे बातचीत कीजिए, ये वाली स्टोरी जो आपने प्रिंट की है उनको सुनाइए, दिन की जो है उनकी प्रॉब्लम पूछिए, उनको वो कीजिए। प्रॉब्लम ये हो गई कि आजकल हमारे पास भी टाइम नहीं है, मोस्ट ऑफ द विमेन आर वर्किंग, मोस्ट ऑफ द पीपल आर वर्किंग, हमारा जीवन सबका ईएमआई पे चल रहा है। So all salaried class people, aspirations are very high. So our house is on loan, our car is on loan, our refrigerator is on loan, our television is on loan. We have taken so many other loans for children's education here and there. फिर हमारे को हर साल अब्रॉड भी जाना है, क्योंकि इंस्टाग्राम पे डाल रहे हैं स्विट्जरलैंड की फोटो और यूएसए ऑस्ट्रेलिया की फोटो, तो वो पीयर प्रेशर भी रहता है कि पड़ोसी चला गया हम नहीं गए, तो बच्चे ही डालेंगे प्रेशर के पापा वो तो चले गए, हम तो पीछे रह गए, हम तो अभी चांदनी चौक भी नहीं जा पाए। तो ये जितनी चीजें रहती हैं, इट मेक्स यू स्पेंड मनी बियॉन्ड योर दिस थिंग, देन टू मेक अप फॉर दैट लाइफस्टाइल यू बोरो, व्हेन यू बोरो then you have to work, when you work then you don't have time, and then the only thing which I can say is you have to spend quality time with people. The most valuable thing, before I finish, for all of us to take back home, my suggestion is the most valuable thing in life is quality time. जो बिना किसी, जैसे अभी हमने बात की, मतलब आई हैव गिवन माय क्वालिटी टाइम टू यू, इससे बड़ा दान कुछ नहीं आज की डेट, टाइम। निस्वार्थ भाव से कोई अगर आपको टाइम दे रहा है, आपकी फैमिली में, आपके फ्रेंड्स में, बच्चों के फ्रेंड्स में, उनको आप बोलिए, वो उसका सबसे बड़ा वेल विशर है, जो उसको टाइम देने को तैयार है। क्योंकि ज्ञान सबके पास है, टाइम देने के लिए बहुत कम लोगों के पास है। तो उनका एक ऐसा सर्कल बनाइए जो उनके साथ, एंड उनको खेल कूद में लगाइए। मतलब बेस्ट थिंग आई कैन सजेस्ट इज उनको म्यूजिक में डाल दीजिए, किसी बास्केटबॉल में डाल दीजिए, बच्चे को गिटार का शौक है उसको गिटार क्लास में डाल दीजिए, उसको डांस, आप उसको खुद लेके जाइए गिटार क्लास में, कैसियो क्लास में, बास्केटबॉल सिखाने, फुटबॉल मैच खिलाने, क्रिकेट। आपको पूरा दिन सब दोपहर को बैठना पड़ेगा, सवेरे 10 बजे से लेकर शाम के 4 बजे तक उसके क्रिकेट मैच में। बट दैट sacrifice is worth taking a child away from social media. That is my suggestion to all of you. Put him in an interest in a hobby which she likes, and spend time, quality time with them, and take them out of this web. ये मकड़ी का जाल है, इसमें सब फंसते जा रहे हैं। ये बाद में सब हम सब तो फिर भी शायद निकल जाएंगे, ओल्डन एरा के हैं, नई पीढ़ी पूरी इसमें फंस जाएगी वेब।
Thank you, sir. Air Marshal Dr. Sanjeev Kapoor ji. Thank you for patiently answering all the questions and detailing your thoughts on many of these things. Now, with this, I don't see any more questions, so I'll pass on the buck to my colleague, Dr. Bhushit Vaishnav, to offer vote of thanks. Thank you.
Thank you, Namit. Thank you, sir. Sanjeev Kapoor, sir. It was a fascinating evening to listen to you. And on behalf of PRL and my own behalf, I would like to extend our deepest gratitude to you for this inspiring and thought-provoking session. Your insights into military leadership, specifically the principles of discipline, ownership, and excellence, have given us a fresh perspective on how to approach our own professional and personal lives. The stories you shared of extraordinary courage and resilience, from military heroes to civilian achievers, deeply resonated with all of us. You have challenged us to embrace true ownership, reminding us that our projects and outcomes are our own responsibility and that we must ask, what can I do, rather than make excuses or blame our tools and teammates. Thank you for leaving us with the powerful message that we don't need a military uniform to live with discipline, lead with integrity, and walk with pride. We will try to carry your lesson to live like a soldier with us in everything we do. Thank you once again for your time, your service to the nation, and your invaluable words. Jai Hind. And I would like to thank our director, Professor Anil Bhardwaj, our dean, Professor Pallam Raju, our Pakao committee, Professor Amit Mahajan, and all our listeners on WebEx as well as YouTube to be with us, to be continuing attending this series of lectures. And we look forward to many more such inspiring lectures. Thank you all.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Dr. Bhardwaj, for having me over, and it's always a pleasure meeting you. I've met you only once, but I can absolutely connect with the wonderful work, and behind the scenes, those forces which are taking us to space and beyond. The space is the new frontier, and you are the people who are making it happen. And India is one name which is taken with utmost pride in the complete space circle. I attended the International Astronomical Federation meet, IAF, in Sydney last year in September, and I could see the respect for Indian space program. A lot of companies were there, and I know that is the wind behind this whole thing is here with you all in Ahmedabad. I wish you, your company, and all your people the very best. May you all grow and take our country ahead. Thank you very much, and Jai Hind. It was truly an honor for me to be with all of you. Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you, Sanjeev.
Thank you
So
so
now
much, Air Marshal Dr. Sanjeev Kapoor. And it is also very important for all of us to keep reminding ourselves, and that is why I keep telling my colleagues that एडवर्टीजमेंट जो टीवी में आता है वो इसीलिए आता है, आपको बेर बेर रिमाइंड कराता है, जैसे कि आपके यहाँ पर वो दर्ज हो जाए कि भाई ये चीज अच्छी है. Similarly, our Vyakhyaan Shrinkhala is meant to remind all of us to be good and take out the best from ourselves. So nice of you to join us on this Vyakhyaan, and whenever you are coming to Ahmedabad, please let us know. We'd like to invite you to have more detailed discussions.
तो कुछ होगा because